Here in South Florida, Chamber of Commerce weather. Mid-70s, the sun is shining, low humidity, and no rain in the forecast. Getting ready to kick off. The crowd anxious to see the Dolphins, and the Seahawks anxious, bundled up energy after resting through a bye week. And for Russell Wilson, they'll get the ball first. The Dolphins won the toss, deferred, so they'll be kicking off.
And Marshawn Lynch will go beast mode today. More than 20 runs per game for Lynch. He's right up there, tops in the NFL at rushing attempts. And then the offensive line, Chris, I got to tell you, they have paved the way for Marshawn Lynch. 4 consecutive 100-yard games. Getting James Carpenter, left guard, back in the lineup today is big.
Beginning a stretch of 3 road games over 22 days, and then the Seahawks play 3 of their last 4 at home.
I think if you're a Miami fan, you got to hope that Seattle, who hasn't played in 2 weeks, lost some of their rhythm. And then for the Dolphins, who haven't played in 10 days, maybe they found some rhythm across the board team-wise.
11th game of the season for the Dolphins, and Seahawks underway as Dan Carpenter kicks to Leon Washington. And it's a win when special teams keeps the return team from getting out to the 20. That was deep in the end zone. Washington opted to bring it out and face a Dolphin defense that has been very good against the run, just giving up 97 yards a game on the ground on average.
And the 2 defensive tackles are still getting it done, although not playing at the high level they were playing earlier in the year. I expect Cameron Wake to be challenged on the edge in the run game. Koamisi is showing up, and which is a good thing for that linebacking core. And then on the back end, Sean Smith, without question, is playing the best out of that group of 4.
Just beyond the 15-yard line, we'll call it the 16. Marshawn Lynch. He came into the week second in the NFL in rushing behind Adrian Peterson, already a 1,000-yard rusher.
And one of the best at yards after contact. No chance, though, that time with big Paul Soliai, all 345 pounds of him, on Marshawn Lynch's back.
213 carries for Lynch. That's second to Arian Foster in the NFL. And there's part of the meat up front that he's going to try and run through today on 2nd down 8. Russell Wilson has it. Floats one incomplete. There wasn't really a lot happening. It's knocked down in the end zone afterwards. It'll be 3rd down.
Really a good job by Kevin Burnett. And this is the zone read play that Seattle really ran well in their last game. Watch Kevin Burnett and his recognition on Russell Wilson, who's going to fake the zone read. Now it's a pass. Now watch Burnett turn and go look for work and find the tight end. Anthony McCoy, the tight end, was certainly the first option there. Kevin Burnett said no chance. Good recognition.
And Cameron Wake knocked Russell Wilson to the turf on 3rd and 8. Robert Turbin is in at running back. And we're going to get, with 4 wide receivers, a flag. Cleet Blakeman is our referee. Garth DeFelice and crew.
Prior to the timeout by Seattle, 12-minute offense, illegal substitution, 5-yard penalty, replay 3rd down.
A clear explanation. You could see Seattle trying to call timeout, but the infraction will push the Seahawks back a little bit and make this a 3rd and long.
And this will not help their 3rd down. And a lot like Miami. We talked to Pete Carroll yesterday. I said, what'd you guys do on the bye week in terms of, which teams typically will self-scout? I said, what'd you come up with? He said, by far the biggest thing we came up with on both sides of the ball is 3rd down. We got to be better in the 3rd down situation.
They need to get to the 26-yard line for a 1st down. Turbin has it. Gets across the 21 to the 23, where it'll bring up 4th down. Setting up the punt possibility, playing it safe with the rookie quarterback on the road, who, as they have said, unlimited on offense, but not a great opportunity there. As Marcus Thigpen is back to return. John Ryan ready to punt, standing inside his own 8-yard line.
One of the big bright spots, Thigpen, for this Miami football team this year.
Ryan gets it away under pressure. drops inside the 35 of Miami and kicks out of bounds. A 43-yard punt without a return, and here comes Ryan Tannehill making his 11th start as a rookie. He's gone all the way, but that left quad, left knee that he hurt October 28th has been nagging him.
Yeah, and I think Anthony Fasano, his tight end, and you'll see some of Charles Clay, the other tight end in this game, they will play a big role. We'll explain that throughout the football game. Jonathan Martin, the rookie up front, is going to need some help against Bruce Irvin and Chris Clemens, two electric pass rushers for the Seahawks.
Reggie Bush averaging 4.2 a carry. The running back. And Reggie gets the carry. Lamar Miller is inactive. Daniel Thomas has actually been getting a little more of the workload lately than Reggie Bush.
Chris Niederbach has had a lot of success when you really look at it, and it'll be hard today against this defensive front for the Seattle Seahawks. A Big Red Bryant. I mean, you want to run to the tight end side, you're going to have to get that guy blocked. Getting KJ Wright back in the lineup today. I think he's their best tackler on defense. Has missed the last game and a half with a concussion. And this is really what makes it all tick for these guys, especially those corners who are going to be lined up, as you see here, in press coverage most of the day.
Tannehill to throw behind his receiver, Hartline. It'll be 3rd and 8. Brian Hartline, the leading receiver for the Dolphins, but has just one touchdown so far this season, and just the number of offensive plays have been an issue for this Miami team.
No question. Over the last several games, they're only averaging 55 yards, or 55 plays, per game. And a big part of it is because they can't convert in these situations on 3rd down.
And they want to get that up to 75 plays, or at least in that neighborhood, not even close. And here with Daniel Thomas in at running back, facing a 3rd and 8 from their own 36. Go. Pass is caught for a first down by Anthony Fasano, who had a hip injury, and they were concerned in pregame warmups. Good enough to go and good enough to make the catch.
And Chris, with all the coverage that Seattle plays and the types of coverage, you're going to get isolation matchups with your tight end on the outside linebacker. And that time Fasano just reads the leverage of KJ Wright playing inside. He cuts back to the outside and makes a nice catch on a ball that was a little bit behind him. See a lot of those opportunities today for the tight ends.
Easy. Red ball. Apple. Good, go.
From the 46 on first down, there's a flag as Reggie Bush carries to fight for maybe a yard.
Encroachment, defense, the nose guard. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot where we played first down.
It was Brandon Mebane that touched the center. And the encroachment is different than an offside. Encroachment comes when you actually make contact with the offensive player, as Mebane did on that last one.
Defensive player could jump across as long as you get back before the snap.
That's right. But once you touch him, it becomes encroachment.
So a 1st and 5 for the Dolphins after the Seahawks' second penalty. They're in Dolphin territory, and Reggie Bush has it with nowhere to go. Leroy Hill from his linebacker spot leading the swarm of Seahawks.
Well, I told you the tight ends are going to play a major role, and a lot of it is going to be blocking the edge game. There's Charles Clay. He's got to go block Leroy Hill, and he just can't get it done. It's really that simple. These are going to be featured runs by the Dolphins today, trying to run to the outside. And that wasn't even close. That was a good play by Leroy Hill.
Loss of 1, no huddle here. 2nd down, 6 from midfield. Fasano dancing around. He's in the slot. Reggie Bush, the football, and he'll lose more. Cam Chancellor coming up from the safety spot. This Seahawk defense allowing just 16 points a game, a franchise high watermark.
Well, they can run. That's all there is to it. And if you play against a guy like Reggie Bush, who's high octane himself, you got to get him going sideways. You got to get him kind of pumping his feet. and not going north and south. And as soon as Reggie hesitates, you could see clearly, even with those big linebackers, Seattle can run. They were able to get there in pursuit.
So after the penalty, 2 plays, negative yardage on each for the Dolphins. So it's 3rd and 11.
Look at this crazy look with defensive linemen standing all up.
Baker.
Standing up at the line of scrimmage. Don't know where they're coming from.
Come on, Tim.
Pressure coming. Picked up for a moment. Tannehill has to get rid of it. It'll be 4th down.
I think one thing as a defense, when you stand rushers up, especially on the inside, you confuse protections. And here you're going to see Jason Jones is standing up right in the middle of that defense. Where's he coming from? Bobby Wagner. And then Cam Chancellor comes as a trailer. They end up having to keep a bunch of guys in. It's still not enough to protect Ryan Tannehill, who has to throw it away.
Brandon Fields, who leads the NFL in punting average, 51 yards a boot. And Leon Washington comes up on it. No fair catch. He's got room. All the way up to the 30-yard line. Colomisi had to make the special teams play for Miami after a 15-yard return. Seahawks get their 2nd possession here in South Florida.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
Joe Philbin, first-year head coach in the NFL, came over as an assistant from the Packers, told his Dolphin team, you don't have to be Superman out there. Just make the plays when they're there in front of you. Try to get them out of this 3-game funk.
And really believes in their plan and their approach. I mean, you see 4 and 6, but in 8 of those 10 games, they have really gone toe-to-toe with the opponent, so he's not changing much.
From the 30-yard line. Russell fakes, and Wilson throws, and Golden Tate with the catch right at the line of scrimmage. Golden Tate, who spent Thanksgiving with his girlfriend, and Russell Wilson and his wife have become quite a combo lately.
Well, they all got the beards going too. I don't know if you noticed that.
It's No Shave November.
No Shave November. Even the offensive coordinator is growing himself a beard. This isn't very thick though. He's got some work. There it is.
He said during the bye week we tore apart everything to see what we could do better.
I'll tell you what they are doing better. Golden Tate's running better after the catch.
And there's Sidney Rice trying to run with a catch. And he'll have a couple of yards, bringing up 3rd down. Well, let's get a game break and check in Los Angeles.
All right, Steelers and Browns, and it turned early. Brandon Wheaton's pass tipped right into the hands of Lawrence Timmons. 53 yards later is good for 7, and the Steelers are on top thanks to defensive touchdown. 7-0 to Charlie Batch is getting the start today. Chris, Tim, Jamie?
Thanks, Kurt. The Dolphins at 4 and 6 are still in a pod of AFC teams mathematically alive, but no room to stumble. On 3rd and 7. Wilson's throw is incomplete. Doug Baldwin was covered. Marcus Thigpen back to return the punt, standing at his own 25. So a couple of 3-and-outs for the Seattle offense. And as Pete Carroll said, it's not all on the rookie quarterback. We have to do some other things around him on these road trips where we're not succeeding as well as we are at home. Here's Ryan. A booming kick. There's a flag down as the ball drops and rolls into the end zone. Flag back inside the 10-yard line.
I mean, I wonder if Lane did not try to fight his way back into the field of play. And that's usually what happens with those outside gunners. They're running down the sideline. If they get pushed out by the defender, they got to immediately try to fight their way back into the field of play.
Already 2 penalties on the Seahawks in this opening quarter. That was a 67-yard punt by John Ryan.
We have a player of the kicking team going out of bounds voluntarily. Number 20. It's a 5-yard penalty. Miami elects a 5-yard from the spot and a re-kick.
Another way to neutralize that 60-plus yard boomer.
You were right about Jeremy Lane.
Well, and there's really two components to that. And he wasn't forced out of bounds. So if you're not forced out of bounds, he's already back in there. But if he goes out voluntarily, that's a 5-yard penalty. Now, if the defender forces him out and he doesn't fight his way back in immediately, also a 5-yard penalty.
So now they'll re-kick it after the penalty, snapping the ball from the Seattle 28-yard line, giving Thigpen, who has had a kickoff return and a punt return for a touchdown already this season, an opportunity. Lets it drop and go out of bounds inside the 25-yard line. Pete Carroll telling his quarterback, hang in there, we got a long way to go. We're scoreless here in the opening quarter.
Game is sponsored by Bud Light, the official beer of NFL fans. Here we go.
After back-to-back home wins and all that energy in Seattle, then a bye week, you wonder if Pete Carroll is concerned about his team being flat here early in South Florida.
Well, the offense doesn't look the same as they did against the Jets, where they scored on their first possession. 2 3-and-outs so far.
Tannehill on the move. Throws, and it's intercepted. The defense is having no problem as Bobby Wagner picks it off. It's a Seahawk takeaway, and a flag comes in on the back end of the play. That is now the 6th interception in the last 2 games and a quarter for Tannehill.
And the first interception by a Seattle linebacker on the season. I mean, you would think their linebackers.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Return team number 91. It's a 10-yard penalty. First down, Seattle.
You would think as active and as fast as their linebackers are, they would have more. But this is the first interception by a linebacker, and that's just a bad throw from Ryan Tannehill, trying to loft it up to Devon Bess. And here's Bobby Wagner right here, who's going to get out in coverage. And he's just going to undercut the route. Ryan Tannehill, who escapes out to his right. And you see Bobby Wagner turn around and what we call look for work. He knew that crossing route was coming behind him from all the film study. And he played the route better than the receiver. Nice job by Wagner.
First career interception for Wagner. And the penalty on Clemens on the block backs him up to the 35. Here comes another flag.
Well, Seattle's been the worst in pre-snap penalties in the NFL.
False start. Offense, number 82. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
So the call's on Evan Moore for Wagner, 2nd-round draft pick out of Utah State, the team's leading tackler. That's for the Seahawk defense, the 10th interception of this season.
And what you love about that play is that play was made from the neck up. That play was done during the week of film study and understanding that when Tannehill rolls out to his right, there's typically going to be a safety outlet, a crosser coming in behind the linebackers. Wagner sniffed it out the whole way.
Marshawn Lynch is smothered. Jared Odrick up front along with Paul Soliai. And Marshawn Lynch, the offense goes through him, but it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, because watch the penetration into the backfield by Paul Soliai. He just crosses the face of Max Unger, and there is no chance for Marshawn Lynch. And Lynch ended up having to go to the other defender, Jared Odrick, but it all started with Paul Soliai right in the middle.
5-yard loss, so they're back to the 45 of Miami.
Yep.
Marshawn Lynch, top of your screen as a receiver for Russell Wilson. Fires and caught right at the 35 by Golden Tate. A 10-yard pickup. They need to get down to the 25 for a first down.
A good protection in the pocket. Seattle loves to go to the empty set, which means 5 out. Watch Russell Wilson's mechanics here in the pocket. I mean, look at him step in and rotate. I mean, that's almost perfect in terms of quarterback fundamentals, and it leads to an accurate throw. Impressive.
Planting the feet for a guy just under 5'11". He delivers it as Robert Turbin comes in on the usual 3rd down call. Incomplete. Doug Baldwin, the target, trying to find room in the pocket to deliver that football.
Carlos Dansby does such a good job for Miami, and one of the best things he does is rush to cover running backs. And there's one thing, when you talk about Dansby, who's got a lot of experience in this league, played in the Super Bowl with Arizona, he understands these teams, they want to get their running backs out in pass patterns on linebackers. You rush those running backs, you make them stay in protection. That time he pushed Turbin right into the face of Russell Wilson.
They're going to pass up a 53-yard field goal try and have John Ryan line up to punt. Interesting decision, giving an indication that Pete Carroll thinks this is going to be one of those defensive, low-scoring struggle kind of games. And Devon Bess is back to return. A flag is down.
Delay game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Probably by design to give Ryan more room to angle for the sideline.
Yeah, better opportunity to keep it out of the end zone.
Still, that's 6 penalties already in this opening quarter for the Seahawks. Miss on a scoring opportunity after the interception by Wagner. Best with the fair catch at the 9-yard line. Flipping real estate is nothing new in South Florida. That's what Pete Carroll did here with field position.
Game on Fox is sponsored by K Jewelers. Every kiss begins with K. By Microsoft Surface. And by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss.
On the fringe of Dayton, Broward County, not too far from Chaminade Madonna High School down the road. Tim Ryan, Chris Myers, glad you're with us in a scoreless opening quarter. From the 9-yard line, a fresh set of downs for Ryan Tannehill.
Block one. Right, hey, 254. 48! Go!
Reggie Bush, the carry. And Reggie up near the 20-yard line.
There's a nice block by Jake Long right here on Chris Clemens. Long's going to get him. Clemens is in good shape, but as soon as he peeks inside, you're going to see Reggie Bush put his foot in the ground right there and go to the outside, and too much speed around the corner for Chris Clemens. That's a feature run. Pete Carroll said he's going to see a lot of it today from Miami, trying to run out on the edge.
Gain of 11. Reggie splits his receiver out to the left. That's to the right side of the quarterback, top of your screen, on first down from the 20. Tannehill's going to go down, and Chris Clemens with his 8th sack of the season.
And he just throws a wicked spin move on Jake Long. You know, Jake Long has not had his typical dominant season. Watch Clemens going to start up, and then he's going to spin right back inside. Long can't handle him. I think a big part of watching Jake Long is he's so worried about getting beat by a speed rush that he really gets vertical in his set. What I mean by that, he gets off the line of scrimmage in a hurry, which opened up the inside move, the spin move for Clemens.
Loss of 7. Tannehill dumps it to Reggie. Ball is knocked loose by Bobby Wagner. And it's incomplete. Wagner had the interception moments ago, so the Seahawks have had at least one interception in the last 6 games. They've also had a sack in every game this season.
And this is the beauty of man coverage. Wagner has him the whole way. Wow. And just knocks it out. I mean, that screen is really hard if you don't get the guy who is in man coverage on your running back blocked on that middle screen. Wagner was all over it.
The team's leading tackler. And Wagner delivering a big hit. Underneath, Devon Bess, who is the 3rd down specialist, stopped short of the 25. It's going to be 4th down for Miami. So the defenses of both of these teams, Seattle has gone 3 and out in every series here. And their defense has done the job. KJ Wright back after a concussion that he suffered against Minnesota, helping that linebacker cool.
He is a great player. One thing about Seattle, their linebackers in their secondary, they're so big and they have length, which everyone loves length. Long with the ability to use those long arms and tackle and defend the passing game. They are outstanding.
Fields. Leon Washington from the 30. 40. And up to the 45 where the Seahawks, that field position game, favorable after a 15-yard return. Russell Wilson will bring the Hawks out against that Dolphin defense in a moment. Darrell Bevel hoping to get Marshawn Lynch involved, the centerpiece of the Seattle offense. 4 straight 100-yard games for Lynch.
Yeah, and there's no secret on that call sheet, I promise you. It's about getting those defensive tackles blocked at the line of scrimmage for the Dolphins, Soliai and Starks.
Straight ahead, doesn't happen there. The Dolphin defense well aware of Lynch as Kevin Burnett makes the tackle.
And Soliai and Starks, the two guys I just ID'd, there they are in the middle. If you're going to run there, one of those guys, you've got to get movement as an offensive lineman. You've got to push them off the line of scrimmage. Look at both of those guys, never got moved an inch, and there is nowhere to go with the ball for the running back.
No gain for Lynch.
Hey, check.
They got to start hitting the outside edge runs.
Lynch, a couple of yards going forward.
And there's those big 2 defensive linemen. You know, you look at Starks, he's in his 9th year, he's only 28 years old. And Soliai, who played under the franchise tag, they know his value, which is a 1-year payment for the top 5 players at his position. They know his value as a run defender, and it's really been a big asset for the Miami Dolphins.
Will it be another 3 and out for the Seahawk offense on 3rd and 8? Russell Wilson. It'll be 4th down. He came in as among quarterbacks, the 4th leading rusher in the NFL, just under 190 yards on the ground, but not good enough to get the first.
And here's what I liked about this play, because you're going to see Rashad Jones right here, who ends up spying Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson's thinking, I got man coverage, I'm going to turn and run. Rashad Jones is spying him the whole way and makes the tackle short for the first down.
4th straight 3 and out. Ryan Bizzard and Devon Bess, who has replaced Thigpen on the punt return with a fair catch right at the 10-yard line. Miami will come over on offense. We are scoreless in the opening quarter. Given their record, the Dolphins can't fool around, and that's the long and short of it here. They need wins. Seahawks at 6-4 in pretty good position for the playoff run.
48! Go!
On 1st down, there goes Daniel Thomas across the 31-yard line. A 20-yard run.
What great vision, and he's got his eyes right on Bobby Wagner. Watch as Daniel Thomas starts this way, and his fullback, Jaworski, gets the block on Wagner. There's nobody there on the backside cutback, and Daniel Thomas just gets up through the line of scrimmage to the 2nd level in a hurry.
Up to the 31-yard line, he stays in at running back.
48! Go!
Tannehill fakes. Rolls. There's a flag down as he throws it out of bounds.
They're going to get Mike Pouncey for a hold, I believe, Chris, on Clint McDonald.
And
Holding offense, number 51. 10-yard penalty, replay 1st down.
you are correct. Sports writer Barry Jackson wrote about this offensive line, and since 2008, more money, more draft picks spent on this line, and they just aren't producing.
No, they aren't. But and Pouncey gets the hold here as McDonald tries to disengage and get off the block. He holds him from getting to the quarterback. But I'll tell you, Pouncey's playing, I think, by far the best of the group up front. The right side, they're young. I mean, Jerry is in his third year. Jonathan Martin's in his second year. I think the biggest disappointment has got to be Jake Long. In terms of the Pro Bowl level he played earlier in his career, hasn't happened.
On 1st and 20, Thomas fighting hard, knocked down short of the 30. In his second year, second-round draft pick from Kansas State, but that offensive line, Jake Long, a #1 overall pick. They gave big money to Richie Incognito. Jonathan Martin's a second-round draft pick, and you mentioned Pouncey.
And it's going to be interesting how they handle Jake Long contractually. He is in the final year of his rookie deal.
Hey, Jam.
Be interested to see how they handle him in the offseason. They'll still have the mechanism of the franchise tag, Chris, if they need it and don't feel good about a long-term deal.
Yellow ball. Hey, yellow balls. Apple. Here we go. 48. Go.
Thomas fighting hard to get up to the 38-yard line. It'll bring up third down. They need to get to the 41 for a first down. Some tough running from the 6'1", 230-pounder.
And he just gets straight downhill because I'm telling you, Alan Branch plays that well on Richie Incognito, and that was good vision on the zone play by Daniel Thomas. If you see that frontside defensive tackle playing it right, which Alan Branch did there, you've got to cut back into the gap inside of him, and Daniel Thomas saw it and exploited it.
3rd and 3, all the receivers on the right side, top of your screen. Here comes Thomas, the back, and he goes out. Tannehill looks the other way and completes to Devon Bess, who can't get the first down. And that'll bring an end to this opening quarter. Devon Bess slow getting up.
Well, it looked like once he caught it, if he would have just planted and went upfield a yard, it would have been much different than coming back. I think he would have got the first down.
We'll check on his injury. A 4th down for the Dolphins. And that is the end of the opening quarter here in South Florida. The Seahawks and the Dolphins are scoreless. Miami lines up as if they're going to fake a punt here on 4th down. Fields. Will he pooch it? Will he run it? Dropping back on 4th and 1. Leon Washington set to return.
I'm telling you, Leon Washington is close. He is right, Chris, for a big return.
Kick away. Fair catch called for. Right at the 18 of Seattle. Seahawks without a first down in that opening quarter. Devon Bess, they cut the tape off. They're rewrapping that left wrist, left arm area. But in that previous drive, frustrated when he was open and Tannehill didn't get him the ball. That was on 2nd down. And then 3rd and short, Tim, when he actually made the catch. You can see how upset he is.
Well, I think it's growing pains. Look, Devon Bess, and here, if he would have just got upfield, he should blame himself. That would have been a first down. He tried to make more out of it than there was, and he came back, and his forward progress wasn't enough to move the chains. I think growing pains with a rookie quarterback. The guy started with Chad Pennington, and now he's working through a rookie quarterback in Ryan Tannehill.
Russell Wilson has it. And is going to run. Out to the 26-yard line. Carlos Dansby playing with that left torn bicep. Ran him down.
Russell Wilson is so impressive, and we've done enough of their games, Chris, to see it. He just never panics. I mean, he is what you call a flat liner. He never gets up. He never gets down. He always stays the same in terms of his emotions. And when there's pressure coming, I know a lot of rookie quarterbacks that really start panicking. And that's, without question, that is no part of Russell Wilson's game. It's impressive.
But he gave him an 8-yard pickup on that run. Marshawn Lynch going to try and get the first down and does not.
Well, he might after that
second effort. The yellow line is just an estimation.
This one's going to be tight in terms of how the line judge is spotting this coming from the other side of the field.
It was a 2nd down run, so it is a first down. They'll give him the extra effort. And that is the first down for the Seahawks in this game, coming at 13:45 before the half. Checking the first quarter numbers, the defense held the upper hand.
That's the shocker right there. 17 yards rushing for the Seattle Seahawks, one of the best in the NFL at running the football.
Russell Wilson down the sideline and incomplete. Golden Tate was the target.
And why wouldn't you take shots on Nolan Carroll? I mean, Russell Wilson's got an unbelievably strong arm, and he's going to throw it down the sideline. But Nolan Carroll, as we know, who's out in coverage, is in perfect position. Had a lot of issues in their last game against the Bills, turning and finding the ball. That was really well done by Carroll.
Right there with him. He had 5 times a flag thrown, 4 penalties accepted in the Thursday game a week ago Thursday against Buffalo. Joe Philbin actually spoke to him, tried to pull him through the frustration and disappointment. He held up well there. Wilson keeps it, but the Dolphins were there. Miami was not fooled. Let's get a game break and check in with Kurt in Los Angeles.
Well, we figured you needed to see a score somewhere, right? Jacques Rogers providing it. Falcon running back taking it outside. 5 yards on the touchdowns, and the Falcons regained the lead at Tampa, 10-7, midway through the second quarter. Chris and Tim.
Kurt will take points anywhere, and especially for Seahawks fans, because they're watching Tampa Bay as a possible wild card team. Chicago leads Minnesota, also in that hunt.
Look at what's happened for them on third down. They have really challenged themselves with some of the negative plays and made it harder on third down.
Wilson scrambling again, throwing, sideline catch is made by Sidney Rice.
Oh my goodness.
And how did Russell Wilson make that happen?
I'll tell you how he made it happen. Number one, he did panic with the rush in his face. Number two, his ability, Chris, to throw off the run is so impressive. He looks like that old baseball player that played for the Colorado Rockies and just driving the ball off the run, and Sidney Rice tiptoeing the sideline. But look at that ball location.
A 27-yard gain after he circled and looped, and they were trying to rush through to beat any kind of a challenge, and there is no challenge flag yet. Let's see what Cleet Blakeman has to say. It looked like the feet were in.
It looked
for
pretty
Rice.
obvious to me for Sidney Rice.
Prior to the snap, Miami takes their first timeout.
A timeout, not a challenge. A 27-yard throw from Russell Wilson to Sidney Rice.
Sponsored by Citizen Eco Drive. Fueled by light, a watch that never needs a battery. By the Samsung Galaxy S3. The next big thing is here. And by JP Morgan Chase & Company. Happy Thanksgiving from all of us at JP Morgan Chase & Company.
Here is the catch, Sidney Rice. Again, it was a timeout for Miami to make defensive adjustments, not a challenge. They will have 2 remaining in the half. A 27-yard connection from Russell Wilson on the run from the 47 of the Dolphins. And Russell Wilson goes down. Paul Soliai and Tony McDaniel collapsed on the rookie quarterback for the Seahawks.
Well, this is just a classic bull rush by Paul Soliai, which means you put your hands under the shoulder pads of the offensive guard and you just push him. I call it the human forklift. Just push him into the quarterback and then reach over the top and grab Russell Wilson and yank him to the ground.
Loss of 16, so after the big gain, they're backed up to the Seattle 47-yard line.
Yes.
Marshawn Lynch to the bottom of your screen. Quick pass complete. Sidney Rice at the 42 of Miami.
Outstanding recognition by the rookie quarterback, Chris, identifying that the blitz was coming off the slot, which means the slot defender that was covering Sidney Rice, Jimmy Wilson, there it is. Russell Wilson's immediately going to look that way, and they call those peak routes for the Seattle Seahawks. And you saw Sidney Rice, as soon as he knew Jimmy Wilson was coming, he turned and peeked, and Russell Wilson and him were on the same page.
Wilson and Tate at the bottom of your screen on 3rd and 5 from the 42 of the Dolphins. Wilson's throw is complete right at the first down marker. Zach Miller was tackled immediately. It's going to be 4th down.
And I think you punt it just like you did in the last situation when you were about the same spot on the field, just on the other side, going in the other direction. Count on your defense.
The way the Seattle defense has done its job. Devon Best, who they taped his right arm. Obviously back to return punts, good enough to play receiver when Miami gets the football back. Here's Ryan. Slips it beautifully down at the 5-yard line where the special teams play initially made by Jeremy Lane. Dolphins will be backed up in a hole. Miami scoreless with the Seahawks here in the 2nd quarter. Reggie Bush looking on as Daniel Thomas is in on 1st down for the Dolphins from the 6-yard line.
Alpha. 48! Go!
Thomas carries again. He's the game's leading rusher. Fighting to get up near the 15. We'll see where they spot his initial contact. You know, Ryan Tannehill, since that game against the Jets, October 28th, when he left injured with a left quad, left knee injury, he's wearing a protective brace there. He just has not been the same quarterback. The Dolphins haven't won in that time either.
No, I fully agree with that in terms of his mobility. But I'll tell you what they're doing, Chris, in the run game is they're going right at the middle linebacker, Bobby Wagner. I mean, that's it. And we've seen a couple of nice plays, running plays inside that are targeting the rookie number 54 in his run defense.
Go!
Pass is caught for a first down by Charles Clay, who was knocked down right away by Leroy Hill.
Now that's nice patience by Ryan Tannehill because he wanted the little screen out to the right. And Red Bryant, the defensive lineman of the Seahawks, saw it the whole way, snipped it out and went and covered it up. He got to his second read and fired it right to the void in the zone.
Reggie Bush, who has 3 carries and a catch, checks back in. Still the Dolphins' leading rusher, I should say, although the carries have been down in the last few weeks.
Unless you need a big, let's go. 48, go!
From the 20, into the pile goes Reggie. Let's get a game break and check in with Los Angeles.
All right, an update on the Steelers and Browns, and in his second year out of USC, Jordan Cameron is his first NFL touchdown. 5-yard reception from Brandon Weeden. Both Browns scores off Steeler turnover. They lead 10-7, Chris and 10.
Thanks, Kurt. The standings with Charlie Batch, third different quarterback for the Steelers in the last 3 weeks.
I'll tell you, Baltimore's quietly playing some good football with all their injuries on defense. They got 3 consecutive wins.
Tannehill down the middle. Here's Devon Best. First down, Dolphins.
Really impressive for the rookie quarterback Tannehill, just in his pocket presence, Chris. And you're going to look out here and you'll see Devon Best flash into your screen right there. But it was really Tannehill buying some time, stepping up in the pocket, which helps extend the play and opens it up for Best.
After a 23-yard gain, no huddle. Tannehill floats one for Clay. He's got it inside the 35 of Seattle.
Well, that was the same play they ran earlier, but they've got Charles Clay going deeper. And you're going to see him as he comes all the way across the formation. And that time it was Cam Chancellor that was supposed to cover it up. Bobby Wagner stepped up, looked like he wanted to get into some pass rush, maybe a secondary contain. Good throw off the run by Tannehill.
And the minute I said he didn't look the same, he's starting to move around a little bit more comfortably.
And he has to. I think when you look at Seattle and all the man coverage they play, that was zone there, but he'll see a boatload of man coverage on the menu for the Seahawks today. And he'll need to run when he sees it.
After an 18-yard gain, timeout Miami.
It's sponsored by the all-new 2013 Ford Escape. It's what happens when you go further.
College Football Friday on Fox in prime time. It's UCLA and Stanford, a rematch in the Pac-12 title game. And then Saturday, the Big Ten Championship, Wisconsin against Nebraska. It's all on Fox, back-to-back nights. Steve Blakeman, our referee, a former quarterback at Nebraska.
He never played.
Wonder who he's rooting for. Clay became an official. On first down from the 35, Reggie Bush carries and knifes it down to about the 31-yard line. Best offensive drive of the day for the Dolphins, maybe for either team. Best scoring possibility.
Surprised at how well the Miami Dolphins are running right at the heart of the Seattle defense. And when I say that, in between the tackles. And Daniel Thomas with some nice runs up inside. And then Reggie Bush that time. When Reggie makes his mind up, Chris, that he's not going to look for the home run and start dancing and tiptoeing sideways, he's going to get you 4+ yards.
He was a 1,000-yard rusher last year. Got off to a fast start, had a fumble, went to the bench, and hadn't been the same since for Miami's running game. Reggie again. Short of the first down. Bobby Wagner making the tackle. An interception in the opening quarter for Seattle.
Be interesting as well how Reggie Bush has handled this offseason. Now there's a long way to go here in this season, but Reggie told us earlier when we were here, maybe week 5 or 6, that he wanted to lead the NFL in rushing this year.
Tannehill keeps on 3rd and short. There's a flag down They went with a no huddle, something Ryan Tannehill is comfortable with. 6 penalties against Seattle in this game, 1 against Miami.
Defense, too many. 12 men on the field. Number 92 did not get off the field. 5-yard penalty will be enough for a first down.
Chris, that's the second time we've seen Seattle with too many guys on the field. We saw it offensively with 12. Now we saw it defensively with 12 on a big down there. I think that's really about a 2-week layoff. You know, sometimes when you go 2 weeks, you can lose rhythm. You can just lose, your focus on some of the smaller details. I think that has crept up on the Seattle Seahawks today with the 2-week layoff.
And the Seahawks are on the road. Teams play better at home. Traditionally, that's commonplace, but there's always an extreme issue with Seattle.
Go.
So first down, Reggie gets the carry. Reggie Bush. There he goes. Reggie Bush. Give him a touchdown. A 21-yard run.
Yeah, watch the block by Charles Clay right there. Instrumental. Then you got big Mike Pouncey out on the edge. Rare for centers to lead the way out on the sweep. He ends up blocking the corner. Then it's all Reggie Bush in terms of breaking a tackle right there at the 3-yard line and spinning and is fighting his way in. And that's the run we talked about. Pete Carroll was worried about those edge runs, and they've gotten Seattle a few times out there on the corner.
5th rushing touchdown this season for Reggie Bush, who breaks the scoreless tie.
I'll tell you what, though, it all started with Charles Clay in that chop block.
And Daniel Thomas pounding the 1-2 punch. All scoring plays reviewed unless you throw a red flag and you're Jim Schwartz on Thanksgiving. So it has been confirmed, the extra point. And Miami has a 7-0 lead here in the second quarter. 8 plays covering 94 yards, and Reggie reaches the end zone.
Chris, here's the touchdown, and focus on the center, Mike Pouncey, and I told you how good he was playing in terms of that group of 5. And just look at the movement skills. You know, not a lot of centers get outside and lead the outside edge runs and then go block corners. Corners usually jump out of the way, and those guys whiff and fall on their face. The athleticism of Pouncey was on full display there. I'll tell you, it kind of reminds you of Damani Dawson, who went into the Hall of Fame this last year. He's one of the first guys, of course, with the Steelers that got outside and pulled and led the way out on those edge runs.
Leon Washington will think better. Seahawks will come out to the 20-yard line and try and get their offense going. A road woe is one thing, but they need to get some points in this one. Doubleheader, America's game of the week, the 49ers and Saints, Rams and Cardinals. The Bears are leading at home against the Vikings, 18-3 in the second quarter. The Bucs and the Falcons are tied at 10 in the second quarter.
Well, it's going to be interesting, and you look at the Saints, who have won 3 consecutive and 4 of 5 and playing good football. Colin Kaepernick at the helm for the 49ers today. If that's really not tied to the health of Alex Smith, Chris, I think it's a mistake.
People thought it was a mistake when Pete Carroll named Russell Wilson his starter, the 3rd-round draft pick over Matt Flynn. But he's got him 6 wins. As Lynch carries, let's get a game break. Check in with Kurt Menefee.
Okay, a little wild action, different action maybe is a better way to say it, going on between the Bears and the Vikings. Jay Cutler scrambles, finds Brandon Marshall in the end zone. Now Minnesota's Antoine Winfield, shaky call, been called for pass interference. He is called. They score the touchdown by Michael Bush and then go for 2, so they get it and have a 15-point lead, 18-3, heading towards halftime. Chris and Tim.
Thanks, Kurt. What a difference having Jay Cutler back. And the Bears will host the Seahawks next Sunday on Fox.
There's a new personnel grouping for Seattle. 2 running backs on the field, Turbin and Lynch, no tight end.
And Russell Wilson keeps it across the 27-yard line. There's Matt Flynn, who, as a free agent in Green Bay, where Joe Philbin was his assistant coach, was offered to sign in Miami, but took the Seahawks gig, a 3-year, $10 million guaranteed bonus, and said he had no regrets. things happen for reasons. He hasn't taken a snap this season with Russell Wilson running the show on 3rd and 3. Turbin, first down Seahawks, and he's sprinting down the sideline. Robert Turbin taking the toss, and Chris Clemens to run him out of bounds.
Remember how I told you earlier, Carlos Dansby's so good at getting up and rushing those backs to cover him. He doesn't get to Robert Turbin this time. And he kind of takes the bait as Turbin went inside and then faked back outside and loses his vision point on the running back, and a good job by Russell Wilson finding him.
A 20-yard catch and carry all the way up to the 47 as Marshawn Lynch checks back in by himself. 6 carries for 1 yard. His 7th carry and maybe another 1 or 2. But the Seahawks have been able to get Lynch going.
Well, I'll tell you the thing with Marshawn Lynch is they're just going to keep feeding him the football. And he is such a grinder in terms of a guy that's going to get you 3, going to get you 4, going to get you 5, and then he's going to hit 3 or 4 7 or 8 yard runs. Only 3 20-plus yard runs on the season for Lynch, but he absolutely just grounds it out on the ground and wears down a defense.
He had a 77-yard sprint for a touchdown against the Lions on the road. Lynch grinding inside the 44 of Miami. 2.5 minutes to go. Seattle all 3 timeouts here in the first half. 1 remaining for the Dolphins.
Yeah, watch the block here by Anthony McCoy, who's going to come this way and end up just chopping down the defender for the Miami Dolphins. He basically becomes a fullback leading the way, gets Koemisi off his feet, which opens up the running lane for Lynch. Now sitting in 3rd and about a half a yard.
3 tight ends in.
19.
Don't run it solely, whatever you do.
Russell Wilson has it, throws on the run, and Lynch catches it for a first down and goes out of bounds just beyond the 2-minute warning. A nifty play from the rookie quarterback against this difficult Dolphin defense. 2-minute mark, Miami has the lead, but the Seahawks are on the move. Pete Carroll's rookie quarterback starting each game this year. Ryan Tannehill as well for Miami. Russell Wilson, both 7 of 11.
See if he takes a shot to Golden Tate up at the top of the screen.
The catch is made. Leaping over Rashad Jones, he came down with it. A 32-yard play. Russell Wilson to Golden Tate.
And it was R.J. Stanford as he looks out, and I love shots on first down. And Golden Tate, watch his body control up and over the top, and then catching that football that never touched the ground. Golden Tate, I'm telling you, his confidence, Chris, is soaring.
He's a very acrobatic player. Actually, R.J. Stanford was the cornerback on that play. Rashad Jones back there as the safety. A 32-yard gain. First and goal, Seahawks. Marshawn Lynch. Only touchdown of this half coming on a run from Reggie Bush. But Golden Tate coming up big for his rookie quarterback.
And here's another look at the catch. There's the throw. Russell Wilson taking a shot on R.J. Stanford, and then look at that. I mean, up over the top. And then the quarterback really trusts his wide receivers now, Chris.
Seahawks going to take a timeout. They'll have 2 remaining. Joe Philbin has 1 timeout remaining. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 3-yard line. Dolphins with a 7-0 advantage. Their defense has been outstanding as we welcome you to the booth. And once again, Tim and I wishing you a happy Thanksgiving Day weekend to you and your family. Well, it's a good old-fashioned defensive struggle. The Seahawks in a good position to tie this up.
Yeah, they are, but it's not going to be easy. I think one thing when you look at the Miami Dolphins, probably what they do best defensively is their red zone defense. I mean, they get after you. It starts with those 2 defensive tackles, and for some reason, when they get their backs against the wall and there's not a big field, their coverage tightens up and they played better with their linebackers in secondary versus the pass.
But you got a quarterback who can run.
Good point.
Russell Wilson on the run. Floats it back corner of the end zone. And Anthony McCoy has a touchdown. Emerging from the shadows, his backup tight end. 60th touchdown pass of the season for Russell Wilson.
And it's almost like this play and the way Anthony McCoy played it was built in for Russell Wilson to scramble to his left. Anthony McCoy came all the way from the wide receiver spot to the right. Now watch him just run a deep crosser in the back of the end zone. He never stops his momentum, and Russell Wilson scrambles out to the left, extends the play, and just a lob pass to the corner of the end zone for Anthony McCoy.
The way that Russell Wilson moved around to make that happen, something you've been talking about, the elusiveness and mobility of Russell Wilson. All that for a 3-yard touchdown toss, but an 80-yard drive answering to Miami's 94-yard drive.
And there, I mean, you just see it. Smith had no idea that McCoy was running that deep crosser behind him. As I said, it was almost like it was built in. And, you know, Joe Philbin said it, I think, to his players this week with Russell Wilson and the type of scrambler that he is and extending plays. He said he reminds me a lot of Fran Tarkenton, that from the head coach. And I think a lot of guys realize who Fran Tarkenton was.
Yeah, the young Dolphin players didn't remember. Joe Philbin grew up watching the Hall of Famer, Fran Tarkenton, who scrambled to make passing plays. And they're similar in size when you think about Fran Tarkenton, just over 5'10", and that's where Russell Wilson also. And they're both, in fact, Fran Tarkenton and Russell Wilson both drafted in the 3rd round. Not that we're saying Russell Wilson can have that kind of career, but in terms of, it was Joe Philbin's thought, in terms of a guy making plays happen, the defense has to be alert.
Yeah, I think it's about the elusiveness and about guys that are, 5'11" or under. And Russell Wilson's listed at 5'11". He's not a lick over 5'10", I promise.
And he studies Drew Brees. That's one of the people he, among other quarterbacks, but because of the diminutive size at that position, throwing lanes, but his scrambling ability, a difference maker. 29 seconds remaining in the first half. Tied at 7.
I think that Seahawk offense after the 2-week layoff, Chris, finally woke up. Their best drive, clearly.
Marcus Thigpen from his end zone will down it. We mentioned that Joe Philbin talked about Fran Tarkenton and his younger players. So wait a minute, what do you mean? Well, Fran Tarkenton went on and scrambled his way into the Hall of Fame, but the little guy,
uncanny resemblance,
like Russell, would frustrate big defensive linemen. This was back in the day when quarterbacks didn't run and scramble like Russell Wilson is doing today. And look, they were both drafted in the 3rd round, and both, what are the chances, both from Richmond, Virginia.
That's incredible.
That was a pretty good show that Fran Tarkenton hosted. Miami will get the football to start the second half. In the battle of rookie quarterbacks, Russell Wilson's touchdown toss gets him into a tie after Ryan Tannehill drove the Dolphins downfield and Reggie Bush scored for Joe Philbin. Coming up, the Visa halftime report with Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy. All the highlights. Defensive struggles today. Atlanta, Tampa Bay tied. The Bears pulling away from the Minnesota Vikings. And we're all tied at 7 here. Glad you're enjoying the NFL on Fox. The Visa halftime report is coming right up, so please stay tuned. Dolphins and Seahawks are tied as we get ready to start the 3rd quarter. And we want to welcome the men and women in uniform serving around the world, watching our broadcast in 175 countries, aboard ships at sea on AFN, the American Forces Network. Thanks for all you do. And to the families of those who serve, we hope you're enjoying today's telecast. Tim Ryan, Chris Myers back here in South Florida. Well, it was a defensive first half, tied here at 7. Miami will get the football to start the second half, but the Seahawks seem to have the momentum.
Well, they do. I think they were in a funk coming off the 2-week layoff with the bye week, and they started 3 and out, four straight possessions, and then they started getting it going on 3rd down. They've converted 3 of their last 4. The running game, I think if they're going to attack anywhere, it's got to be on the edge because those 2 defensive tackles, Soliai and Starks, you got no chance running at those dudes.
And what about the Dolphins on offense?
Well, I think the same thing. They got to run to the edges. Reggie Bush had the touchdown out on the edge. And they've actually held up for the most part in terms of the protection. We did see the one sack by Chris Clemens, but otherwise, Miami, it's a defensive game. I don't expect anything to change here, Chris, in the second half.
All right, Tim, follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. Stephen Hauschka ready to kick off. No field goal attempts in the first half. Bobby Wagner did have an interception for Seattle on defense. A touchdown pass by Russell Wilson. And a Reggie Bush touchdown run, and that's the scoring. Second half here in South Florida. In the sun. Underway. And Miami will come out to the 20-yard line. Let's check in down on the field with Jamie Maggio. Hey, Jamie.
Hey, Chris. You guys are talking about the slow start for Seattle. That's something the coaches were stressing all week long after the bye week, was getting back into the tempo of the game. Pete Carroll said the penalties for them in the first half were just a joke. He said they will definitely be looking to speed up the tempo here. Joe Philbin, by the way, said they've got to do a better job keeping Wilson in the pocket, said they got to get their passing going. They look to do that right now.
Thanks, Jamie. 7 penalties for Seattle in the first half, just one for the Dolphins.
54. 48! Go!
Reggie Bush on first down. Makes a nice move to get 3.5 yards.
Tell you who stops this play is Brandon Mebane right in the middle, the nose tackle. And anytime you're defending the zone run where all these guys are coming off on a track, the nose tackle or the backside player has got to stay on his feet because they're trying to chop you down. Look at Richie Incognito. Not only tried to chop Mebane, tried to roll into him. Mebane's not taking it, defended it perfectly. There was nowhere for Bush to run.
Reggie, the leading rusher in this game with 50 yards on 8 carries. Tannehill's throw is hauled in by Hartline, and he goes out of bounds. Check the halftime stats.
Yeah, in the third down one, we talked about it with Miami, Chris. That's been a problem. And look, 24 plays in the first half of the game. That number's got to go up, and I think doing this up-tempo will help them establish some rhythm and hopefully some more play opportunities. Reggie Bush right here in the slot, playing slot receiver.
Baker. Go.
On 1st and 10, Ryan Tannehill's throw is caught across the 40. Again, it's Hartline. He averages 15 yards a catch and came in as the Dolphins' leading receiver, his second catch of the game.
I think I like the empty set, and that means 5 out, no running backs in the backfield for the Miami Dolphins on the first down because Seattle's got their big boys out there. You talk about Big Alan Branch and Red Bryant. They're out there to defend the run. Spread them out and throw the ball at them.
There was a stretch when Ryan Tannehill back in October when the Dolphins won 3 straight where he was the best against the blitz of any quarterback. For a rookie, outstanding, and was handling the no-huddle rather well.
48! Go!
On 2nd and 3, Reggie Bush trying to find room and just tries to get back to the 40. It'll bring a 3rd down.
Well, I would imagine Seattle defensively, because they got hit on the big edge run by Reggie Bush, Chris, the one that went for a touchdown. But I promise you they've gotten into Bobby Wagner's head, got him up on the chalkboard and said, look, they have attacked us right in the middle of our defense a couple of times. There's Gus Bradley, the defensive coordinator. We're playing it well with the defensive tackles, but the middle linebacker hasn't fit properly on a few of those big runs. That goes right to Bobby Wagner.
54,
After Reggie Bush lost a yard, it's 3rd and 4 for Tannehill. Pete Carroll said we're going to try and light up the rookie. Here comes pressure. There's a flag thrown. Clay with the catch near the first down marker.
Illegal shift. Offense. 2 men were moving at the snap. It's a 5-yard penalty. Replay, 3rd down.
It looked like both Reggie Bush and Charles Clay were moving, and that may cost Miami a 1st down. Tannehill 9 out of 13 so far. Russell Wilson 9 out of 13. Now they may measure if he didn't get the 1st down. Seattle could decline the penalty and on 4th down force Miami to punt. And that's what Pete Carroll's going to do. Seattle's defense holds, and Brandon Fields will stand inside the 28-yard line of Miami.
You better directional punt Leon Washington or get enough hang time where he's got a fair catch it, because he is dangerous.
Standing inside his own 10. Brandon Fields boomed it. And into the end zone. A 57-yard punt without a return. And Seattle takes over on offense time.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By Miller Lite. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time. By Lowe's. Lowe's, never stop improving. And by Pizza Hut. Make it great.
2,720 miles from Seattle to Miami, not nautical. Seahawks first and 10 from the 20. Russell Wilson for Sidney Rice. That's a first down, Seahawks. Marshawn Lynch has just 12 yards rushing on 9 carries.
Well, they bottle him up, and it's been the negative runs has been the problem for Marshawn Lynch. Watch Russell Wilson throw the receiver open. I'm telling you, Sidney Rice took this too far inside. Carlos Dansby's right on the edge to get a hand on it. Russell Wilson throws it just outside of him and opens it up for Sidney Rice. Well done.
32-yard line. Here goes Lynch. Maybe up to the 35. And Sidney Rice, it's a few games back when they just weren't getting him the football enough, and then they started to feed him, and it didn't happen by accident.
No, it didn't, Chris. And it was before the Detroit game, and they went in and lost that game but played well. But Sidney Rice, and word is that he went upstairs and talked to the coaches, and not demanding anything, but went up and said, look, hey, we got to figure out how to get me more targets. He's got the big contract. He's an elite player in my mind when he's healthy. He's, you know, maybe they were waiting for him to get healthy. He's clearly healthy now, and they have been feeding him over the last 5 or 6 games.
Russell Wilson for the tight end. Zach Miller stops short of the 40. Both Sidney Rice and Golden Tate come in with 6 touchdown catches each. Rather productive for the Seattle wide receivers. Doug Baldwin, their third down receiver, a little bit healthier now as well.
And Sidney Rice, look, both shoulders in the offseason last year, and starting to show some visions over the last several games of that guy he was in Minnesota that earned that big contract. Remember the year he had with Brett Favre there for the Vikings? Impressive.
4 wide receivers on 3rd and 3. Miami threatening pressure here. They drop off, and Russell's going to have to run around. Complete for a first down. Jermaine Kearse, the 4th receiver. Washington Husky from Lakewood, Washington. A local product with the first down catch.
Well, and Miami bluffs pressure there. They've got all these guys up here on the line of scrimmage, and none of them come. They end up only sending 4 rushers. They get some good push, but outside in. Now Russell Wilson, this is all Russell Wilson extending the play. And you got to love his arm strength. Look at him rear back. There's defenders around his receiver, and he just drops it right to Kearse.
And that comfortable elusiveness for Wilson, running to find a throwing lane. And on the run there, completes. That's Doug Baldwin.
It's just no problem for Russell Wilson to get to his second read.
7 straight completions for Russell Wilson.
Well, he is impressive, and not only impressive on the field as a rookie. Here's what I love about Russell Wilson. He took a leadership role, Chris, before he ever earned it, and that tells me that he is a natural leader. That's in him. You can't make those guys up. Now it took him a couple of real games going into the season, and talking to their players, he earned that leadership role. He's at the top of the food chain for this offense.
On first down, inside the 40 of Miami, Marshawn Lynch carries. A good-looking second half drive by this Seattle team. Yeah, he outworked, as you have often said. It's not like Matt Flynn lost the job. He went up, took it by working harder and being more productive.
That's right. Absolutely did. Good job by Koamisi there on Marshawn Lynch, getting some penetration. But you know what? And look, I know a lot of the veteran players. I know the veteran player mentality is this rookie joker comes in, third-round pick, and he's telling us what we're going to do, and here's the game plan. What we're going to do. Come on. Enough already. It's too much. They absolutely respect him, and his leadership is genuine.
Marshawn Lynch inside the 35. Here comes a flag.
I'm going to get a hold here on Seattle.
This will be the 8th penalty.
Holding. Offense. Number 68. 10-yard penalty. Still second down.
Breno Giacomini, the call.
There's Giacomini right here. Yeah, and it was all good until Jared Odrick tried to disengage and come back to where the ball was. Giacomini, that helmet looks too small. They think that thing fits him, Chris?
Maybe he needs a haircut.
Hey, we're big!
James Carpenter, by the way, back from a concussion, also battling a knee injury, who's staying in at left guard for Seattle.
It's either a big head or a small helmet.
Backed up by the penalty. Russell Wilson dumps it off to Robert Turbin. It's down near the 30-yard line, close to a first down. Good pickup following the penalty. I want to go back, too, to Russell Wilson, because somebody asked Pete Carroll, did you check with some veterans before you made the decision? He said, no, it was my call, but I watched and I observed how guys in the locker room reacted to the way Russell Wilson came to training camp, worked through the preseason, and he was just too good. He deserved the job.
He did, and it was all great in the preseason, and you can say you believe it. Nobody believed it till he did it for real when real football got here, Chris, in the regular season.
3rd and 1. Russell Wilson has it, completes it. It's a first down to Evan Moore inside the 25 of Miami. And Russell Wilson has found his rhythm.
He's just such a patient quarterback, and here it's really a triple threat. You don't know if he's going to run. You don't know if he's going to hit his first option, which was Zach Miller, or if he gets to his other option, which is going to be Evan Moore, who uncovers late. See, he looked down the field, saw Zach Miller was covered up. You see it there. And then Evan Moore is right there, enough for the first down stick.
His first catch of the season as a Seahawk, former Cleveland Brown. Marshawn Lynch fighting hard, but stopped just inside the 20-yard line. Russell Wilson now 15 out of 19, 176 yards, and again he had the touchdown pass to Anthony McCoy, using the tight ends a little bit more, all three of them.
I think a lot like on the other side of the ball when we talked about Miami's offense, the use of the tight ends versus all those coverage principles. It's really the same thing. A lot of man coverage, a lot of 3 deep with the safety in the middle of the field for the Miami Dolphins. There's going to be openings for the tight end.
And chewing up the clock on this drive, more than 6 minutes.
Yeah, Moffitt out there for James Carpenter at left guard. I think he flinched at the line of scrimmage.
False start. Offense. Number 74. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
You're right, Tim, in mentioning that James Carpenter, who came back from the concussion, battling a knee injury sustained in this game. Now watching from the sideline. There's James Carpenter.
He is massive.
So the penalty makes it second down 10 from the 24-yard line.
Hey, 4 down.
Both
Hey,
Tate
man.
and
Four,
Rice
man.
go to the top of your screen.
Watch out for Doug Baldwin here. Lined up on the inside slot.
Russell Wilson looks that way. Hesitates, and he's going to run. He gets a block. And looking a little like Fran Tarkenton, getting inside the 5 of Miami.
And that was total Tarkenton. I mean, that's just a little dip. And Tony McDaniel at 6'7" goes right over the top. Russell Wilson, again, no panic, gets back. One first read, pump fake, second read. No, not there. Now the little dip under McDaniel. And now watch him use his blocks and the patience down the field while he's running the ball. Look at this. Little razzle-dazzle. Whoop. Right under the arm of Big McDaniel.
A 20-yard run. He's the Seahawks' leading rusher today.
Green 15.
Marshawn Lynch carries. And is knocked down after maybe a yard, struggling for every inch of it.
Yeah, enough trying to run at Randy Starks or Soliai. And we've talked a little more about Soliai, but Randy Starks has been outstanding.
Now 2nd and goal. Seahawks trying to break out of a 7-all tie. Spotted at the 4-yard line, and Russell Wilson's running and throwing has gotten him down here.
Hey, 55! 4 man! 4 man. 380! 380 shot!
Blitz coming. Wilson throws it, completes it. Touchdown, Seattle. Michael Robinson, the fullback, drifting into the end zone.
That's a great play call by Darrell Bevel, and it really is. They caught Miami in a pressure with Carlos Dansby coming up inside, and then Cameron Wake dropping in coverage was supposed to pick up Michael Robinson. And if I know Cameron Wake and watching him play as a sack master over the last 3 or 4 seasons, he's much better going forward towards the quarterback than dropping back in coverage. Did not fool Russell Wilson.
On for the extra point. And Hauschka gives the Seahawks a 7-point advantage. An 80-yard drive taking up more than 8 minutes. Russell Wilson, his 17th touchdown pass of the season. Massive scoring drive for Russell Wilson, who has now completed 14 passes in a row. He's moving in on the all-time Seattle record held by Warren Moon, which is 17 consecutive pass completion.
And they have found their groove. I mean, all year long, come out and start third quarters, they have not put any points on the board in terms of touchdowns. That was an outstanding drive.
Hauschka to kick it off with 4 minutes remaining here in the third quarter. Marcus Thigpen downs it. The challenge for the other rookie, Ryan Tannehill, taken in the opening round. He'll have to try and respond to Russell Wilson's touchdown toss to Michael Robinson. Tim Ryan, Chris Myers, Pete Carroll noted for his halftime adjustments, and the Dolphins will be up against that here, trailing by 7.
Yeah, and expect one thing for sure, for him to get the run defense shored up. Seattle's been impressive most of the year. Miami had some good running lanes both inside and outside in the first half.
Triple, 54. Red woman. 48! Go!
Ryan Tannehill on first down gives to Daniel Thomas, who got the offense going last time on their only touchdown drive of the game. Tannehill 9 out of 13, 88 yards. He's moving in on a Dolphin rookie record owned by the great Dan Marino, Hall of Famer / announcer.
Yeah, say what you want about yards, and Ryan Tannehill's got a huge upside. Danny Marino has a rookie 22 touchdowns. Ryan Tannehill's got 6.
And hoping to get a few more here today and try and rally the Dolphins.
Blue 88! Go!
They stay on the ground. Reggie Bush, or they fake it, I should say, and Devon Bess has the first down. And that will give Tannehill the new Dolphin record for passing yards by a Dolphin rookie. And this is 11th game. Dan Marino set that yardage mark in 9 games.
Well, he's impressive off the run. I think that's one thing about Tannehill, and I was talking to Pete Carroll about him. He said he's a great rhythm thrower, and when he can get out of the pocket and things are coming out on time, or if he's thrown in the pocket and he can set his feet, he's hard to stop.
Hey, triple, 54. 48! Go!
Reggie Bush for a few yards.
Yeah, that's that same run they were running earlier in the game, right at the middle linebacker, Bobby Wagner. And if you're going to run inside, typically you've got to have a good center that's going to get out to those linebackers. Let's watch Mike Pouncey right here. And he gets the block. He was in great position on Wagner, but he slipped and fell down just as they made contact.
On second down 8 from the 33. Tannehill on the run. He gets a first down. He's in Seattle territory. Knee brace and all. A 19-yard run by Ryan Tannehill.
Well, it's all about man coverage, and Ryan Tannehill sees it, but then you can see his elusiveness. He's a former starting wide receiver in college, and he just cuts right inside of Brandon Browner there and picks up extra yardage.
And I don't think the sprinklers came on to celebrate
look at that.
His rookie passing record. I said no rain in the forecast. I didn't check the sprinklers.
Well, Russell Wilson has been running pretty good. Maybe you need to wet that field up to slow him down.
This is just Miami's way of showing a little Seattle hospitality. Pete Carroll's like, what the?
I have never seen that before.
Going on here. Well, you know, they used to play baseball with the Marlins as well as football here, but of course the Marlins with their own stadium.
Someone forgot to unplug the automatic timer. That's hilarious.
That's going to be officially a Gardner's timeout. On first down from the 48, Reggie Bush carries into Seattle territory a little bit further. The sprinklers are all turned off. This was moments ago. Look at the official.
Look at Buddy Horton. I don't care where you are or who you are. When sprinklers come on unexpectedly, it's always the same reaction.
And the big guy's sweating. They don't mind. In fact, I think Carl Spackler was behind this. You know, the movie Caddyshack, it was filmed not too far from here.
Hey, 53,
Bill Murray, Chevy Chase, Rolling Hills Country Club.
Did you get a free hat with that note?
You'll get nothing like it.
Go.
Tannehill at 2nd and 7. Knocked away. An excellent defensive play by Richard Sherman on Hartline.
He's having an outstanding year, Chris. Richard Sherman. Out there on the edge. NFC Player of the Week last week in their last game against the Jets. And he plays mostly press coverage. He beats guys up all the way down on the field. But the thing you got to like about him, former wide receiver at Stanford, he understands route concepts when guys are trying to hook up in the zone as they did there, and he got a nice pass breaking up on the football.
And he's fun to follow on Twitter.
Baker.
3rd down and 7 from the 45 of Seattle. Trailing by 7. Blitz is picked up. It's batted in the air and complete. Tannehill standing at 6'4", could not get the throw over the line of scrimmage.
We saw a few of those batted balls against the Bills 10 days ago. It's really a good job by the defensive lineman understanding, look, we're sending pressure. And I believe it's Jason Jones who gets his hands up. We're sending pressure. It's 3rd and 8. You know the ball is going to come out quick. If you're not getting there, just get your hands up for the quick throw. And that's exactly what Jason Jones was able to do.
Leon Washington standing inside the 10. Brandon Fields at his 40. We're going to get a timeout.
Seattle takes their first timeout.
Seahawks will have 2 remaining. Pete Carroll, by the way, after his Friday workout before they hopped on the plane, first thing he said was, who's winning the Apple Cup? That great Washington State-Washington series. And nobody got couged. The Cougars rallied to win in the great state of Washington. He keeps a close eye on college football. Florida beat Florida State in an exciting
I know what you're
rivalry.
setting me up for. Don't even go down
I
that
won't
road.
even. I'm going to set you up for a promo. That's our job. That's what we do in college football next Friday on Fox. Pac-12 championship in prime time. UCLA. Jim Mora has done a great job there with Stanford. Stanford won last night, so it's a big rematch for the Pac-12 title. And then Saturday on Fox, the Big Ten championship. Nebraska taking on Wisconsin. So the Pac-12 and the Big Ten title games, the championship games only on Fox. Jimmy Wilson downs it inside the 5. Good teamwork by Fields and his special teams defender. A 41-yard punt with no return. The Seahawks are backed up. That's the ankle of Leroy Hill, replaced by Malcolm Smith back when the Seahawks were on defense. But they take over first down on offense, protecting a 7-point lead from their own 4-yard line. Marshawn Lynch, nothing.
I tell you, they have got the Seahawks run game wired. I mean, they blitzed right into where that run was going to go. Good play.
Seahawks, if you would have said they'd have a 7-point lead on the road after 3 quarters, and Marshawn Lynch would have just 21 yards rushing on 14 carries.
I tell you, Russell Wilson's an outstanding young player.
He's got a string of completions, 14 in a row, and we'll see when we start the 4th quarter after a knockdown dragout. Seahawks with the lead of the ball.
I'll tell you one thing, and Miami's going to have to figure out how to force a turnover on defense. They have not had one takeaway now in the last 3 games and 3 quarters.
We welcome you back in South Florida. Jim Ryan, Chris Myers. This is a Mike Burks production directed by Michael Frank. Miami's own John Branco in the booth helping us with Emmett McGuire and James Petralka. On 2nd down 10, Jimmy Wilson in at safety for Chris Clemens, who's battling cramps in the Miami secondary.
Hey, 5-6! Got it!
Russell Wilson from his own end zone throws on the run and completes his 15th straight pass. And Golden Tate has a first down. That's a field position game you always talk about.
Well, that's a huge first down, completion and able to convert again on 3rd down or 2nd down. And a lot of times, I think the beauty, everyone talks about 3rd down. You get first downs on 2nd down, you're cooking. And again, no panic. Just look at the eyes and the poise and the patience of Russell Wilson as he extends the play and gets outside the pocket. Tough to stop.
A gain of 14. Marshawn Lynch finally has some room outside. His best run of the day.
Now, I know Kevin Burnett is not happy. He thought he got held that time by Zach Miller out on the edge.
Did he?
It looked like there was enough restriction. Here's Zach Miller right here. There's Burnett. Let's see as Burnett's trying to get off the block. Oh, yeah, that definitely was a hold. You saw Zach Miller had a hold of his right shoulder pad and grabbed the jersey, which certainly was the reason why Marshawn Lynch was able to spring free on the edge.
A 16-yard run. He came in with 4 straight 100-yard games. He's got 37 yards rushing today. Lynch will lose on this one. 3 Dolphins corral him, led by Carlos Dansby. Amazing with that left torn bicep that he is playing so actively for the Dolphins.
I'll tell you, it's a nice adjustment by Kevin Coyle, the defensive coordinator, to help protect those linebackers as you see Dansby there. Because what they've done is they brought in Tony McDaniel in and Jared Odrick here, and McDaniel here are the 2 defensive ends. And Cameron Wake is standing over on the sidelines as their situational pass rusher, which is really smart by Kevin Coyle, being strong on the edges with the bigger defensive ends.
On 2nd and 12, Wilson, that's 16 in a row. Zach Miller hauls that one in. He's 1 away from equaling the team record held by Warren Moon, who was in this building.
I think we're sniffing a need for a nickname for Russell Wilson now.
You got something?
I have nothing. I leave that to you.
Well, there's RG3. How about RW1?
RW1.
Mr. Wilson.
I like Mr. Wilson.
Mr. Wilson creating trouble. From the 40-yard line, it's going to be 3rd down. There's Warren Moon. Calls Seahawk games with Steve Rabel and company.
Hey, too far!
Set the mark back in 1998.
I can already hear his response if there's another one. Records were meant to be broken.
He floats it. That's a tough throw. And incomplete. Russell Wilson for Doug Baldwin. 16 straight. And Warren Moon's record of 17 in a row, his Seahawk team record, will stand.
Russell Wilson is so bright. I mean, he looked out there and saw Doug Baldwin was lined up on Brian McCann, who has not played a lot this year for the Miami Dolphins, and tried to exploit it just off the fingertips of his receiver, Doug Baldwin.
The bullet point there, the Dolphin defense digging in when it had to force a punt and give Miami the ball back, trailing by 7. Devon Best, fair catch. They'll have it at the 18-yard line. Russell Wilson is over 200 yards passing. Reggie Bush with the only touchdown of the game for Miami.
The Buick Verano, unexpected luxury in a car this size. By Bud Light, the official beer of NFL fans. Here we go. And by T-Mobile, test drive our nationwide 4G network.
Back here in South Florida, this stadium hosting 5 Super Bowls. 2 teams with playoff hopes, 6-4 Seattle, 4-6 Miami.
Go!
On first down from the 18. Tannehill open as Charles Clay. He's got a first down catch across the 36-yard line.
I think Jaworski got hurt, the fullback. He's laying back down on the ground, just now getting up. I'll tell you, what a great job by Ryan Tannehill. And you see the arm strength. Chris Clemens was just bearing down on him as a pass rusher. You see Clemens here, and you see him take off and get right by Jonathan Martin. And then look at the velocity on that ball by Ryan Tannehill.
Daniel Thomas in at running back, gets the carry. Gets across the 41-yard line after the 19-yard pass play. Daniel Thomas, who helped work it downfield before Reggie Bush scored. Reggie, a former USC Trojan star, played under Pete Carroll. The two don't stay in touch too much. Pete said he's a more mature runner now.
Pete also said that he wishes for really the last few years that he and Reggie would have had a conversation about what happened and there'd be some closure to it. And that conversation is yet to ever take place.
Go!
On 2nd and 4. Tannehill with time wide open. Devon Bess goes out of bounds. If he could have stayed on his feet, he would have scored.
Clearly a busted coverage by the Seattle defense, and it was Cam Chancellor, I believe. There's Earl Thomas coming on pressure. Now watch Cam Chancellor turn and double team Hartline. The middle linebacker, Leroy Hill, or the outside linebacker, lets Devon Bess go, and then Richard Sherman saves the day after Devon Bess went down.
18-yard line of Seattle after a pickup of 39 yards and quickly to the line.
Another good job by Tannehill. Pocket presence, stepping up and delivering the ball.
Marlon Moore is in the game. He gets the carry down inside the 10. The backup receiver comes in and runs the football. They hurry to the line again.
And there's the big throw. And again, Tannehill just stepping up in the pocket, keeping his eyes downfield, and was shocked that Bess came free.
Tannehill keeps on 2nd and 1. You see that yellow line in estimation. Devon Bess, 5 catches to lead the Dolphins today. It's going to be 3rd and short.
And a critical 3rd down, an area where they have struggled mightily today. 1 for 6, 17% of the time they've converted their 3rd downs today.
Appears to be some confusion. 3 tight ends in for Joe Philbin and Daniel Thomas. Go!
Go!
Thomas gets it. First down for Miami. They have used, and Philbin told us it's whoever has the hot hand. With the Thomas-Reggie Bush combo, they've been picking the right numbers today.
Yeah, absolutely. And the offensive line has blocked well, and that's probably been the biggest surprise. I mean, they've got 134 yards rushing in this game against the Seahawks. Not a lot of people run on the Seahawks with the success that Miami's having today.
Daniel Thomas goes to the bottom of your screen as a receiver. 1st and goal from the 7.
Let's look for Anthony Fasano, number 80, the tight end, on this play.
End zone, intercepted. It's a Seattle takeaway, and the 2nd of the game for Bobby Wagner.
It's going to be for naught, though, because Earl Thomas came on a pressure and went helmet to helmet on Ryan Tannehill.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense, number 29. At least half the distance to the goal line, automatic first down.
And I don't know how Earl Thomas can stop here. He jumped up in the air, Chris, to try to deflect the pass, which obviously raised up his level, and then watch him hit Tannehill helmet to helmet. I mean, he is like a bullet, and it was his forearm to the helmet of Ryan Tannehill. I mean, I don't know how you stop that if you're Earl Thomas. I really don't.
Well, officials will tell you every week they're reminded, err on the side of caution and safety, and that's the way the call goes. So it's 1st and goal from the 3 on a major penalty.
And you cannot hit a defenseless player or quarterback anywhere in the head, whether it's with your forearm, your shoulder, or your helmet.
Daniel Thomas churning his way in. Touchdown.
Well, clinic blocks all the way across the board. Look at Jonathan Martin and John Jerry both get terrific down blocks. Fasano gets the kick out block. Created enough of a running lane for Daniel Thomas to squeeze the ball over the plane. You see it right there.
4th touchdown of the season. Miami taking advantage of the 10th penalty against the Seahawks, wiping out a Wagner interception in the end zone. And the Dolphins with the extra point.
I guess if you're Earl Thomas, the
tie.
coaching point, Chris, on that last play is don't leave your feet and try to block the ball. Just put your shoulder pad through his chest plate. They're looking at this upstairs.
Confirmed by the officials.
You could see as the left knee was approaching the ground. To me, it looked like from that angle the ball had already crossed the plane of the goal line.
It has to be clear enough to overturn. It was ruled a touchdown on the field.
Really hard to tell from that angle because of where the goal line. This will be the best angle right here. The knee is down there and the ball is across the goal line. I don't think there's enough to overturn it. Called a touchdown. Chris, I believe this will stay a touchdown.
They are checking. Official booth review. All turnovers and scoring plays. Just over 8 minutes to play in the 4th quarter.
The previous play is under review.
Lakeman confirming that for us. So we'll further review the Thomas touchdown run. Ruled a touchdown on the field. And after further review.
After review of the play, the ruling on the field stands is a touchdown.
The delay was caused a little bit by the communication between the replay booth upstairs and down on the field. So it's a touchdown. But the huge penalty on Earl Thomas, and he was over there talking to his coach and the official, trying to go over what he could have done to avoid.
Yeah, and he's upset, Chris, but a foul's a foul, and the rules are the rules, and you can't hit a defenseless player in the helmet with any part of your body. That clearly happened.
High snap is handled well on the extra point by Carpenter, and it's a tie game. 7 plays covering 82 yards. Nearly 4 minutes chewed up before Thomas ties it for the Dolphins.
Sponsored by the Buick Verano. Unexpected luxury in a car this size.
What looked like a game-saving interception for Bobby Wagner. A penalty on Earl Thomas gave the Dolphins a first down and a chance to tie the game.
And they've been their own worst enemies today, that being the Seahawks. 10 penalties, 59 yards.
Leon Washington on the run. There he goes. Leon Washington. He's going to score.
Did I not tell you early in the game that dude is ready for he is ripe and ready for a big return?
His 8th career kickoff return, and he ties Josh Cribbs for most career kickoff returns for touchdowns in NFL history with 8. 98 yards.
Yeah, and the reason I said it, Chris, is studying their tape. He's been so close so many times. He's just been an electric returner throughout his career. They tried to directional kick him, get it down the numbers, and just look at no wasted movement. It's an outstanding block out on the edge. Once you make that kicker miss, forget it. What a great story Leon Washington is. For the fans that may not remember, that guy came back from a catastrophic broken leg to resume his career as a terrific returner.
A Florida State Seminole. In the Sunshine State, he runs one back in the shadows to give the Seahawks the lead back. Leon Washington from Jacksonville, Florida, with a touchdown return and a terrific run back of 98 yards, and the kicker was dismissed.
No chance. I mean, that is the biggest mismatch on the field. The kicker in open space against Leon Washington.
And Leon's story of overcoming broken leg, surgery, battling back to give Seattle the lead now, as Marcus Thigpen will not have an opportunity. Hauschka's kick goes through the end zone. 7:54 to go in the fourth, and the Dolphins will have the football. Our Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader continues. America's game of the week, the 49ers and Colin Kaepernick, division leaders in the NFC West, taking on Drew Brees, the sizzling Saints, after their 0-4 start. Some will see Rams Cardinals. That's after our game right here on Fox. Reggie Bush gets outside. Reggie across the 40-yard line. 22-yard run.
A really good vision by Reggie Bush, because Red Bryant, who's right here, is going to take an inside move. He's sitting right in the hole. Reggie sees it, immediately bounces to the outside. Bang, right there. And then Bobby Wagner couldn't catch him, and Anthony Fasano with a good block out on the edge as well. Nice run by Reggie, but he had a lot of help.
Bush gets a breather here as Daniel Thomas comes in. Thomas scored the touchdown a moment ago. Ryan Tannehill gets rid of it and out of bounds. Hardline was there, but covered by Richard Sherman. And Chris Clemens was all over Ryan Tannehill.
And there's only been a couple of sacks today by the Seattle Seahawks. Really only one, and it was by Chris Clemens. These guys are great pass rushers. He's got 8. Bruce Irvin has 7 on the other side. But I got to tell you, they don't look the same on grass. Not to me, as they do when they're playing on the artificial field turf, where they're almost unstoppable, Chris. This grass almost really helps neutralize their great speed.
Reggie Bush stopped short of the 45. Clemens with a good run play. Let's get a game break. Check in with Los Angeles.
Well, the Falcons and Bucks keep going back and forth. And this time it's Michael Turner putting Atlanta in the lead with a 3-yard touchdown run. 6th lead change in this game. Atlanta now up by a point. 7:55 left in the game. Chris and Tim.
And Kurt, the bye weeks are done, so 5 games remaining after this weekend in the playoff picture of the NFC. Watching Tampa Bay, Chicago beating Minnesota.
This is a huge 3rd and 7 right here for Miami with just 6:40 to go.
Daniel Thomas has a first down. He's inside the 40 of Seattle. And the calm delivery of Ryan Tannehill made it work.
I'll tell you what, these rookie quarterbacks are putting on quite a show of 2 guys that are just very, very patient, and there's no panic. I mean, there's doors closing all around Ryan Tannehill as you watch Bobby Wagner come inside there, and then just a little jump pass, if you will, almost a sky hook to Daniel Thomas, who released late.
An 18-yard pickup. Fresh set of downs from the 37 of Seattle.
Go, go!
Reggie Bush met hard, but fights it off to get inside the 30. Ran into Leroy Hill, battling a sore ankle, who's come back out into the 4th quarter here.
Terrific block by Jake Long just to open up the hole. Wow, there's the collision with Leroy Hill. Tell you one thing, and I talked about those pass rushers a minute ago and being different on turf. We've seen a lot in this game. Ryan Tannehill using the long count to really, the longer snap count just to really limit their ability to get off the football.
Second down 2. Tannehill still has it. Open is Clay. He hangs on. Touchdown Dolphins.
Talked about the tight ends needing to have big games today. Both Charles Clay and Anthony Fasano. Clay has stepped up big time. He's coming out of the backfield here. He's just going to run a wheel route, and Leroy Hill is late to recognize it. I mean, Leroy Hill never sees it till it's too late. Then he's playing catch up, and a beautiful throw from Ryan Tannehill right on the money.
His 7th touchdown pass, and this is rookie season. And a fingertip grab by Charles Clay. And who would have thought this? It's been that close. Dolphins 21, Seahawks 21. Charles Clay, second-year player out of Tulsa with his 2nd touchdown catch of the year.
Man, what a huge play. This is the biggest of his career. Just ran right by Leroy Hill. Leroy Hill got lost, got into a back pedal, and then there was no way he was going to catch up to Charles Clay, who's had a very nice afternoon.
And the throw by Ryan Tannehill.
Well, the mechanics. I mean, standing tall. Perfect. Enough velocity to drop it in, but not too much loft to where the safety had an opportunity to get over and make a play on it. It was outstanding.
You can see why he was drafted in the 1st round and why Russell Wilson taken in the 3rd. The 2 rookie quarterbacks have started for their teams all season long. Leon Washington will not get a chance this time. Daniel Thomas scored a touchdown, and then Leon Washington ran 98 yards on a kickoff return, and then Tannehill answers to Clay, and we're tied at 21. Now in the AFC, the NFC first here, you see Seattle's in very good position. After a road game in Chicago, Tim, they play 3 of their last 4 games at home. So this game critical, and that's why they running into the Bears, who are winning today. Tampa Bay in a battle with Atlanta, losing at the moment with 3.5 minutes to go. The Vikings are losing. Saints play later. We'll get to the AFC where the Dolphins have faint playoff hopes alive in a moment. Marshawn Lynch fights hard to get up to the 25. The season low for Marshawn Lynch, 41 yards rushing at home against the Patriots, a game that Russell Wilson pulled out. In fact, the rookie quarterback has 2 fourth-quarter come-from-behind wins.
And this is where you love having a real legitimate runner like Marshawn Lynch, who hasn't had a big day today. But I can promise you, the Miami defense starting to wear down a little bit. And this is where Marshawn Lynch does his biggest damage.
Chris Clemens back in at safety. Russell Wilson has it, throws low, and it's incomplete for Lynch. Wilson had a string of 16 consecutive passes. He's thrown for over 200 yards and a couple of touchdowns.
I think right there, he had Marshawn Lynch coming out of the backfield, but in his line of sight, he saw Chris Clemens flying in there. Did not want to risk a turnover in that part of the field and basically just threw it in the dirt in front of Lynch.
3rd and 5.
Watch Robert Turbin out of the backfield.
Robert Turbin for the 1st down. Up near the 34-yard line. Russell Wilson looked like he wanted to dart forward, but stepped back and floated the completion.
He absolutely did, Chris. I think he, as you said, started to move forward, saw that running lane got closed, then peeled back out, and then that's right when Robert Turbin released as the safety valve for Russell Wilson.
A gain of 9 from the 34 of Seattle. 1st and 10 Seahawks. They have one win on the road this year at Carolina, engineered by Russell Wilson. They've lost 4 away from home.
Green 80. Trickle. Green 80.
Marshawn Lynch swarmed in at the 35-yard line.
I like the fact that they're running the ball, trying to stay in bounds, and they're looking at this as a game-winning drive. They got 3 timeouts left. Chew up as much time as you can, and then if you don't stay, you score too quickly, you give Miami a chance to come back. They've only got 2 timeouts left now.
Yeah, they burned one a little bit earlier.
That's
Miami
right.
has all 3, Tim, but just 2 for the Seahawks at the 3-minute mark here.
AC 58.
Russell Wilson hands off to Lynch, and there's a swarm of Dolphins at the 40. It'll bring up 3rd down. Tied at 7 at halftime. Seahawks came out, marched downfield, and took the lead. It's gone back and forth since. There have been no field goal tries in this game. There's Hauska ready for his chance. On 3rd and 4. Russell Wilson, and he's open. He faked the pump and completes it to Anthony McCoy.
Kevin Burnett is confused. Kevin Burnett never got outside. Look at him. He's trying to have some communication. Then you see Sean Smith come inside on the inside receiver, Sidney Rice. There was 2 guys that ran into each other, and nobody covered Anthony McCoy. Worst possible time to have a coverage breakdown. Miami just had one.
A 20-yard gain. McCoy, his 2nd catch of the game. Remember, he had a touchdown earlier going in this direction in the shadow of the end zone.
Expect the run game to crank up right here. Push him into field goal range.
Robert Turbin is in. Gets the football from the 40 on 1st down and goes nowhere. His Dolphin defense has been outstanding against the run all afternoon, and nobody runs it more than the Seahawks. They mark it at the 41, and we've hit the 2-minute warning. The Dolphins trying to end a 3-game losing skid. The Seahawks trying to win on the road for the 2nd time this year. We are tied, but Seattle has the football. Seattle's Stephen Hauska, beyond 50 yards, he's made just 1 of 4 field goals this year. His career long is 54 yards, and where that red line is, that's where the Seahawks would need to get to give him a chance at a 54-yarder. But it's 2nd down from the 41 of Miami.
If they get some positive yards here, Miami's got to call a timeout.
Russell Wilson underneath to Marshawn Lynch, and they'll lose yards all the way back to the 47-yard line. Takes him out of field goal range.
They got to call that timeout. They got to get it.
And it's happening. Timeout. Miami will have 2 remaining. The Seahawks have 2 as well.
And that's the worst thing that could possibly happen for Seattle. There's Cleve Blakeman talking about the timeout. The defensive line was all over it. Look at Soliai. 345 pounds getting out there and sniffing out that screen. And then kicking it out of the stadium.
And Russell Wilson maybe could have made a better decision on that. It didn't look like it had anything from the start.
Should have just thrown it away, although then the clock would have stopped. The last 2 plays for Seattle have been a disaster. You're close to field goal range for Hauska, and both plays ended up being plays for losses, negative plays.
So from the 47, after they lose 6, it'll be 3rd and 17. Coming up after this game, the Pepsi Game Break Show, and then America's Game of the Week. We hope you stay tuned.
I think the ambition is not getting the 1st down here, but getting it past the 36 and put it in range for Hauska.
Russell Wilson is going to go down. Jared Odrick.
Timeout again.
Dolphins will have 1 timeout remaining.
Oh, that clock's been ticking, and I'm telling you, Joe Philbin called that timeout about 7 seconds ago.
There have been numerous clock issues at stadiums across the NFL this year. Make a note of that. They put time back on the clock. Sharp eyes, old eagle eyes, Brian over here. We'll give you a striped shirt. You run down there and work the clock.
No, thank you.
1:38 now. And Philbin made sure that they keep time on the field as well and coordinate that with the clock operator. An NFL employee for each game. They hire the clock operator at each stadium. So Seattle, a golden opportunity to try and get 3. Now they'll be lining up for a punt. Devon Best, leading receiver for Ryan Tannehill today, is back to receive the punt. You see the timeouts remaining.
Give that Miami defense some credit. They've been good all day, but they've been at their best on those last 3 plays.
John Ryan, one of the best at putting it inside the 10, and that's right where he drops it out the 10 without a return. 39-yard punt. The Dolphins will have 1 timeout, just over a minute and a half, and all they need to do is get in field goal range. But Dan Carpenter, their kicker, has had an adventurous season. 5 misses, all from 47 yards or more.
Should be interesting to see how Mike Sherman, the offensive coordinator, and Joe Philbin call this, what ends up going to look like the final drive of regulation. You know, deep inside their own territory, you put up some risky plays against that Seattle defense and they get a turnover, and they're already in field goal range.
And Seattle has 2 timeouts, so a mistake clockwise, you could pin them and force a punt.
I expect some safe throws for Ryan Tannehill.
That's Devon Best. First down Miami. Up near the 29-yard line. Clock runs.
I think this is where it's a great asset for Ryan Tannehill, knowing this offense coming from college with Mike Sherman. He'll need to rely on that experience here in the last minute of this game.
19-yard pickup, fresh set of downs for Tannehill. He's going to run and get a first down up near the 45-yard line. They're either going to have to spike it.
Yeah, he's calling for the spike right now.
With 1 timeout remaining.
Oh, that's a bad penalty by them. That's a bad penalty by them. You're going to end up chewing some time off the clock right here.
The clock was running at the time of the infraction,
right.
So it will be if it's against the offensive runoff.
Yeah, that's one thing, rookie quarterbacks, you got to make sure all your guys are set before you take that ball to spike it.
Now, there may not be a runoff if you have a timeout remaining.
You can use your timeout, absolutely, so that you don't get the 10-second runoff.
Let's see how Joe Philbin plays it. 46 seconds showing on the clock.
Illegal motion, offense, number 86. 5-yard penalty, replay first down.
Well, the penalty will stop the clock. It puts him back at the 39-yard line, and it's a first down and 15.
You hear everybody yelling on the sideline for a 10-second runoff.
Tannehill's throw is caught by Best. He's down to the 37 of Seattle.
I'll tell you what, this Seattle defense is gassed. They do not have a lot of energy left.
25-yard pickup. Both Ryan Tannehill over 240 yards passing, and his rookie counterpart Russell Wilson over 220 passing today.
Get Tannehill the whole way, control that other defender with his shoulders.
Tim Ryan, Chris Myers, we welcome those of you that saw the Falcons beat Tampa Bay. We're tied at 21. Miami at the 36 of Seattle. 1 timeout remaining. In a tie game, and the Seahawks are going to use one of their 2
Seattle
remaining.
takes their second timeout.
Seattle with a timeout, the Dolphins with a timeout. It was tied at 7 at halftime. In the second half, Russell Wilson, his second touchdown toss to Michael Robinson. Daniel Thomas, a touchdown run. Reggie Bush scored in the first half. A 98-yard return by Leon Washington gave Seattle a 21-14 advantage. But then in the battle of rookie quarterbacks, Charles Clay hauls in the Ryan Tannehill pass. And we are tied at 21 with 29 seconds to go. And from this point, Tim, it would be a 54-yard field goal for Dan Carpenter if Miami gets nothing.
You said it earlier. When was the last time he had a game winner? It's been a long time for Dan Carpenter.
It's been a couple of seasons. 5 misses this year, all from beyond 47. Second down, 10.
Hey, 54 one. Hey, he's coming.
See if he chooses to look for that tight end again. Charles Clay at the top of your screen in the slot.
Open and complete his play at the 30-yard line. Giving him just a little bit closer.
Ryan Tannehill is just seeing it, Chris. He doesn't miss. And I love the fact now that they've got the one timeout left, but they're still working the sideline routes. Mike Sherman there, the offensive coordinator.
Also his coach in college at Texas A&M when Tannehill from receiver to quarterback was drafted in the first round.
Tannehill has been outstanding late in this football game. He has just been really, really good.
From inside the 30 on third down.
Woody! Go!
We're going to run straight forward with Thomas. And you're looking at about a 35-yard field goal if you want to take it now. As the clock runs.
Yeah, they're going to let it wind down, and they're just going to call the timeout.
They did get the first down, but they want the field goal to end it. October of 2010, the last time Dan Carpenter kicked a game winner for Miami. He'll have a chance here. 43-yard field goal officially. Brandon Fields, the punter, is the holder. Pete Carroll stressed to his team how important after the bye week winning on the road was to set up the fortunes of a playoff run.
I don't think he envisioned, Chris, his defense with the letdown that they've had here late in this game. Now let's give Ryan Tannehill a bunch of credit. I'll go back to that big 3rd and 7 where he was able to pick up the conversion before the touchdown to Charles Clay. He has been fantastic.
Pete Carroll with one timeout could ice him. From 43 yards out. Dolphins win at the buzzer.
Boy, what a game. What a game.
A 4th quarter rally for the Dolphins. They knock off Seattle here in South Florida. For Tim Ryan, I'm Chris Myers. Thanks for watching.